Get ready for a powerhouse of inspiration. Principal Baruti Kafele. A highly regarded educator and a transformational leader, Principal Kafele has spent over 20 years in New Jersey's urban schools, making a lasting impact as both a master teacher and a turnaround principal. Under his leadership, the mighty Newark Tech transformed from a low-performing school to one of America's best, as recognized by U.S. News and World Report 3 times. A recipient of the prestigious Milken Educator Award, Principal Kafele is one of the most sought-after voices in school leadership and equity. He's delivered over 3,000 keynotes, workshops, and seminars across the nation, authored 13 books, including 7 ASCD bestsellers, and continues to empower leaders through his live-streamed AP and New Principals Academy. Please join us in welcoming the extraordinary Principal Baruti Kafele.
And we are live. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to week 244 of the AP and New Principals Academy. Let me see who we got here. We got Constance Sherrod checking in from Pearl, Mississippi. We got Rodney Richardson. 244, Rodney, going strong. And I should add consecutively, man. No breaks. Robin Snowden is in the building. Good to see you, Robin. She's out there in Fresno, California. We got Grace Castaneda. Where you are? You back in Kyle? No, you in Houston today. We got Nadira Coley is in the building. That's Jersey. Maplewood, New Jersey. Newark native. Takesha High is in Virginia. Marsha Poe, San Diego. Hey, Marsha, man, forgive me. It's been rough. It's been rough. I'm going to respond. I'm going to respond. I'm like 2 weeks behind in email, Marsha. I shouldn't even be saying that publicly, but it is what it is. Lisa DeBose Walker, Waco, Texas. Michael Benton, Cincinnati, Ohio. AP Patrick Lawrence, Connecticut. So if anybody sent me an email, I probably won't get to it right now. I'm like 2 weeks behind, right? Because I'm off. I'm not on the road. I've been chilling, right? So we'll get to them. Where we at? Takesha High is in Atlanta. Chancellor Davis is in Vegas. I'll be there in 2 weeks. I'm taking another vacation, y'all. That'll be the fourth one in like 4 months, man. I'm going back to Vegas, man. We just go to shows all night, chill during the day. So January 12th, I'm out of here. I'll do a few engagements next week, and then I'm gone. Lysandra Brackens, North Carolina. Stacy Joy is in California, LA. Vanessa Zeskins in Connecticut. Otis Kitchen, Tampa, Florida. But he here in the Big Apple right now. We got Mona Obamolak in Orlando. Dr. Rella Hicks is in Augusta. Jacqueline Harriet, Nova Scotia, Canada. Principal Laws of Bargani, Ujima Bargani. Hotep Harambe out there in the gym in Greenville, North Carolina. Lily Lanier, Rose Hill, North Carolina. Melissa Jones Chunu is out there in Tulsa. Where we at? Janetta Vaughn, morning fam, morning back at you. Jasmine Harris is out there in California. I think we had a mix-up last week, Jasmine. I think there's another Jasmine Harris, and we were talking, and we thought it was you online, right? But nothing bad. Where we at? The queen of the castle. The castle, man. Y'all got to see this thing. You think like Bron and them got this palatial place? You got to come here to Jersey City to see this castle I got, man. We got like 20 bedrooms, man. You got to see this, man. I wish, but really I shouldn't say I wish. I don't want it. give me a master bedroom and give me like an extra bedroom, right? And I'm good. Let's go. I'm almost done, man. Cedric Fluker is in the building. Where we at? Dot McKeever Jeter is in the building, man. Dot McKeever Jeter is so helpful with promoting. I gotta get you back on here too. We're gonna try to do that in 2025, man. I appreciate you. We all appreciate you. The whole Fantastic Four. I'll be sitting there watching football on Sunday, and then I get the notification from Dot McKeever Jeter. Josh is on and mighty. I said, okay, let me get on there, right? So I appreciate you. Gerard Phillips, my man. He gonna be on with me soon, right? We got the Delaware posse getting ready to come up in here, y'all, soon, and he's one of them. Central Hicks is in the building. Abargani, Ujima. We got where we at? We got Dr. Roz Gaskins, who's actually in the wings. We're gonna talk to her for a few minutes before we get started. Kimberly Odom is in the building. I'm getting ready to wrap it up. Edwin Garcia is here. That's Jersey. Jersey's in the building. I usually close with Jersey, but I see a couple more. I want to shout out. I see Cayenne Butler is in Houston. Kenyelle Williams, Oklahoma City. She's going to be on with us with our Kwanzaa 7-day live stream, but I'll talk more about that in a little while. Looking forward to seeing you on there, Principal Williams. David Bell is in Benton Harbor, and I'm gonna close it with this brother, Dr. Aniel Austin, assistant. Oh man, what's that title? It's not superintendent. It's man. I'm Dr. Austin, man. My brain is too scattered, man. You assistant commissioner. That's what it is. Assistant commissioner of Department of Education in New York State, and he was a guest here about a year ago. He's in Brazil right now, doing nice videos every day, giving us some motivating words. So I'm gonna end it with him. Go back to the session with Dr. Austin and I, Dr. Aniel Austin, and check that video out. It's about a year ago now. You know, we going into year 6, right? So you know, it's you know, we've been doing it. So let me formally greet you all. Good morning. You know, I used to yell that out, but we done with that. Good morning. Greetings. Welcome to week 244 of the AP and New Principals Academy. I say it all the time. I'm not going to ask that question today for different reasons, but I'm gonna say to y'all, I hope that everybody was able to take it down, right? I hope you were able to take it down, right? I got a few inboxes sitting in my inbox that I got to respond, and there's some people that have written me that told me it's been rough, right? I got one just this morning, but I got a couple more that I'm gonna be getting to over the weekend. But some folks just telling me it's been rough, and these are not folks who are looking forward to 2025. I would think. So I want to, you know, I got my announcements, I got my monologue, but I want to ask you to participate in something with me. We're calling today's session. Oh, let me get Tammy's up here, isn't she? I see. Okay, I got y'all. So we calling this. Let's all exhale. Right? Do this with me. I'm gonna do this 5 times. I'm going to inhale and I'm gonna exhale. I want you to do it with me. You'll see my rate as I do the first one. So I'm gonna close my eyes on this too. Let's just inhale, exhale, inhale, Sometimes we got to do that. I do it a lot. Sometimes you just gotta breathe in and breathe out. Right? Is that the end all? No. But is it a necessary component? Absolutely. Right? So just take some time, some private time, and just kind of inhale, exhale, and never lose sight that you're in this position because God put you in that position. Not the person that was doing the hiring. God put you in that position for a reason. And the day you find out the reason is the day you spread your wings and soar. See, a lot of us, and I feel like I'm turning something into a monologue, so let me step away from it real quick. A lot of us, we're in these positions, but we haven't crystallized why. See, so definitively, we don't always know why we're in it. We're just in it and we're doing. But once you connect with your creator, your maker, whomever you call him or her, and you become crystal clear in your purpose for being in it, oh man, that changes the game, baby. I promise you, there are people in this business that don't know why they're in this business. They're just doing it. They knew in the beginning, but the going got tough because they had not anticipated the challenges to the work. So it became a money thing. I gotta pay the bills, and this is the best I can do. I can't go back to the classroom. I'm used to my salary being tripled now. But you got to stay rooted and connected, grounded, and planted in that why. But you got to stay rooted, connected, grounded, and planted in the person, the entity, your God that put you there in the first place. Enough said, y'all. That's not even my monologue. Well, welcome to the first timers. If this is in fact your first time, though, let me tell you something. You missed 243 sessions. So go to the YouTube channel, AP and New Principals Academy, which we're streaming to right now, and click the subscribe button, then click the notifications button, and then binge watch. Watch them all, right? So that's number one. Number two, I got to do my shout out. I didn't speak anywhere this week. I don't think I did any virtuals, but I got a different kind of shout out. This is my mother's birthday. She's on here too, y'all. She hasn't missed one, right? So if you on here regularly, trust and believe my mother's sitting right there, either in her chair or her bed, watching all 244 sessions. So she turned 90 today at midnight. We all called her at midnight. And because she's up late at night, so we didn't wake her. But she turned 90. Got a nice picture of her I posted this morning, and give up them happy birthdays to her. She sees them like anytime there's something relative to her that I post, she sits there and reads all of that stuff, man. And then she puts a big comment of thank you and all that. So make sure you wish my mom her 90th birthday, happy birthday wish to her. Hey mom, happy birthday to you. We'll be over there a little later today. You know that Ace will be there. He's here running around my house. So we'll have a good time. I'm back to YouTube shorts. I keep saying that, so make sure you all look out for my YouTube shorts. I didn't do one last week, but I will have one this week. Those are Wednesdays. 60-second video on YouTube, but I post it on all my platforms. So look out for that. That we call it midweek fire. Just want to give you a little fire every week. My School Leadership Institute is July 15 and 16. So make sure that you go to principalcafele.com and register. Just scroll down to where it says Instructional Leadership Institute. I even put a picture there of our group from last summer, or the summer before last. We didn't do it live last summer, but I even made it real visible. So just go to the website, principalcafele.com. We're talking instructional leadership both days. We're coming out of my new book, What is My Value Instructionally to the Teachers I Supervise? And we're going to have a great time. So register. Everybody gets a free copy of that book, but also the first 50 registrants get a copy of my book, The Principal 50. Right? Why the first 50? Because I got 50 copies held over from last year. I got to get rid of them. So the first 50, they're yours, right? So register, and we'll see you in Raleigh, North Carolina this summer. We're doing Kwanzaa every evening, folks. Every evening, 8 o'clock. I share it to my page. It's on a lot of platforms, but we're talking about Kwanzaa. We're talking about the principles, and we're applying it to just various different aspects of life. Myself and Dr. Melissa Chester, CEO of Black Educators Rock, among other things she does, we've been hosting. I won't be on tonight. I'll be watching because I'll be celebrating with my mother, but I'll be back on tomorrow night, right? So, and then I got to speak on Kwanzaa Monday nights. I won't be hosting. I'll be in East Orange, New Jersey. Those of you in East Orange, join me at the Bowser Senior Center. I'll be keynoting the Kwanzaa program on the 30th. That's on Monday. And then I'll host again with Dr. Chester Tuesday and Wednesday. So just go to my page. Even the days I'm not there, I'm still sharing it to my page. So just check us out, man. Good information. We're on for about 90 minutes. Before I get to my monologue, I shouldn't be saying this publicly, but I'm going to say it. This is the new joint. What is my value instructionally to the teachers I supervise? It stays in Amazon's top 10. It hits number 1 frequently. It hits number 2 frequently. Then it'll slide to like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen it at 10 all week. But the reason I said, but I'm gonna share this with you. I haven't been at peace. I haven't been at peace since December 16th. I'm happy. I'm good. But I'm not at peace. And the reason is I put so much into this. I was so excited about the release date of December 16. That first batch for all the pre-order people, most of the pre-order people, they went out. But then there was a bigger batch with like 1,000 going to Amazon we're talking about. And some kind of way, I have no idea. I can't even explain it. ASCD can't explain it. Amazon hasn't been making those books available. I don't know what it is. And that's just messed with me, right? Because I was excited about this thing. So you can get it. The last time I checked, which was about, because I'm always checking on Amazon, are they gonna move the date to the next day with Prime? Right now it's at January the 9th, right? So if you can wait, then go get it on Amazon. If you can't wait, if you really want this, you want to read it over this next week then go to ascd.org, right? Again, the letters ascd.org. And you can get yourself, they'll send it to you right away, right? But again, I don't want to give the impression like I'm unstable. I'm just not at peace, man. This is my latest, it's my 14th. I put a lot into it, man. And I was just so excited, man. I was excited as if I was going to a Luther Vandross concert, right? Now, of course, Luther going to be on CNN on Wednesday, New Year's Day, 8 o'clock. We moved our Kwanzaa program to 6 o'clock for that reason. I called Dr. Chester. I said, yo, we can't do 8 o'clock on New Year's. I'm watching Luther, right? So we moved it to 6 o'clock. So I was excited as if I was going to see Luther about the release of this book. So it's out, but Amazon is holding it up like almost a month. So now we're talking January the 9th, and the release was the 16th. Go to ascd.org and get yourself a copy, or go to Amazon and you can just wait a few days, right? Either one, but get the copy. Why? Because this is the most important book I've ever written. Because look at the title. Look at what it's not saying. What is my value to the teachers I supervise? I am not asking that question. I am asking, what is my value instructionally? That is a fundamentally different question. Let me get my mirror on that one. What is my value instructionally? So look at yourself in that mirror. Ask yourself, what is your value instructionally to the teachers that you supervise? Not the teachers in your building. I ain't talking about all of them. I'm talking about the ones that you evaluate, the ones that report to you. What is your value to them? And I'm not just talking about principals. I'm talking about anybody in that building that evaluates teachers. So obviously assistant principals. Enough said. I'm at peace now. I got that out of my system. I'm feeling good. Let me do my monologue. I'm gonna cut it down. It's called Ujima. And the reason it's called Ujima is because today is Ujima, meaning collective work and responsibility. The third day of Kwanzaa, a holiday that was created, a 7-day holiday that was created in 1966 with the purpose of being able to promote the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. Well, the third principle is Ujima. It was, see, that whole holiday, it was a vehicle to highlight those 7 principles, not just to celebrate them during Kwanzaa, but to live them throughout one's life. So let me just highlight this third one as it relates to school, as it relates to your leadership, Ujima. The definition of Ujima: to build and maintain our own community together and make our sisters and brothers' problems our problems and to solve them together. Let me read that to you one more time. To build, and by the way, while I'm reading it, do me a favor, hit that share button, hit that retweet, repost, hit that like button a zillion times. And because that's how we stimulate them algorithms. And text somebody, call somebody, go to them Facebook group pages and let them know we are here. We talking about let's all exhale. So to build and maintain our own community together and make our sisters and brothers' problems our problems and to solve them together. I'm saying that Ujima has a significant place in our schools under your leadership, right? Let's break this definition down. To build and maintain our community together. Let me stop it right there. To build and maintain our school community together, right? So the question, as I hold up the mirror again, are we intentional about building and maintaining our school community together? Like, is that a part of what we do, or are we just going through the motions of quote unquote school? See, Ujima is saying to build and maintain it, our own school community together. That means teamwork. That means all of us collectively working together to make that school into what it can be. Under your leadership is that happening. But then it goes on to say, and make our sisters and brothers' problems our problems, and to solve them together. So as a school, do we have each other's back? Do we encourage one another? Are we there for one another? Are we in one another's corner? Do I got you? See, that's what that said. Let me read that part again. To make our sisters and brothers' problems our problem. So teacher down the hall that's struggling, is that my problem? So if I'm teacher, is teacher down the hall, is teacher on the next floor level up, is that my problem? Or am I looking at that? That's your problem. I got my kids here. We doing an excellent job. But Ujima says, no, that teacher down the hall that's struggling, that's our problem. You see the difference? So as principal, have you had that discussion with your staff? That if there's someone struggling, that's not his problem. That's not her problem. That's our problem. What are we doing to help our brother, to help our sister to resolve that problem? But let's go deeper with it in terms of why. Because in that classroom where that teacher is struggling, where one of us said, that's not my problem. Well, there are 25 youngsters in that classroom during that period. And let's go even deeper. And one of the 25, and that's just in a period, it could be 125 to 50 in a day. One of the youngsters is young Principal Kafele. I always got to tell y'all that. I got to remind you. Young Principal Kafele in that classroom of a teacher that's struggling. Young Principal Kafele that spent 5 years in high school. Young Principal Kafele with the 1.5 GPA. Young Principal Kafele that spent 5 additional years doing nothing. Young Principal Kafele that, however, graduated summa cum laude. Young Principal Kafele that was the teacher of the year at the school, the district, the county, and New Jersey State finalist. Young Principal Kafele who rocks that Milken Award shirt because he won. Milken Award, baby. That was my reaction when they said Principal Kafele. I had to go into prayer mode. So I'm saying young Principal Kafele that just finished his 14th book that he wrote in 18 days. So I'm saying this, I ain't bragging. I got to make a point that young Principal Kafele that's in that classroom with that teacher that's struggling is your problem. That's the only point I'm making, because young Principal Kafele had it in him. He ain't know it. Y'all don't hear me, man. I ain't talking loud enough. It was in him. It was always there, but he didn't know it. He needed the right mechanism to bring it out. And here I am, baby. Ujima, to build and maintain our own community together and make our sisters and brothers' problems our problems and to solve them together. Woo! I said I wasn't going to be doing that screaming, y'all, but woo! I got you on that one, baby. I got to. Woo! I feel that ghost. Woo! Y'all, hold up. Woo! 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 Hold up. Hey, Sheikah, you understand? I'm good. Hey, my fam, don't come down here. My son watching. That ghost get up in you sometime. Maybe it's because it's my mother's birthday. I'm good. I'm good. Oh man. Hey y'all, we got a show to do. What y'all on this saying, man? Oh man. Listen, I'm done. before I bring up my guest, I got a special guest. I got Dr. Rod. Oh man, I see you, Phillips. You feeling it? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Listen, I got Dr. Roz Gaskins in the building. Let me get her here. She got let me change that background. Oh my God. She got new book, and I wanted her to talk a little bit about it. Get you up here, right? I see you. Tell us about that book.
Hello, everyone. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Thank you for having me, Principal Confele.
Yeah.
Listen, so my new book, My Daddy Taught Me Math, is a tribute to my father, who, again, he was the real mathematician, and he made math fun. I lived in Norfolk, Virginia, and he was living in D.C., and so because of that, we didn't spend a lot of time together, and I was young when my mother and father divorced. And so I really didn't have a good relationship with him early on. And he would come and get us over the summer break and take us to DC and take us all around to the monuments and Ben's Chili Bowl, and we listen to go-go music. And he turned everything into an adventure, a math adventure, and quiz us on math and telling us about the history of DC and our country, and talking about Dr. Martin Luther King and just all of the fun facts of DC and our nation. And he would always infuse mathematics in the story and in this adventure and the tours that we were going on. And it made math fun. And fast forward, I became a math teacher. My little sister became a math teacher. My older sister, she went to school for accounting. So we all caught that math bug. And so I decided, looking around as a teacher, that my students did not have books where the main characters represented them and looked like them, and told their story. I'm living in the DMV area now. So I left Norfolk, Virginia, and now I'm living in DC area because, again, I caught that bug and fell in love with the area. And my students didn't have books that talked about their experience. And so I said, let me write this book, and so that my students can fall in love with math and see themselves. And so, again, my daddy taught me math. It's a story about Tori. My middle name is Victoria, so that's a little shout out to myself. I didn't want to put Roz, but I always loved Tori, and so that's the main character. And my dad, that's in the story, again, is in DC, and it takes his two daughters all around DC, pointing out different facts and quizzing them on math. And so I've gotten some great feedback from people who live in DC and people who live all over the nation, and saying how their children connect with the main characters and how they too are excited about math and science and STEM. And it kind of inspires them to see that math is all around them. And it's so important that we're living in an age now where they're taking books that look like this off of the shelves.
Yeah.
And so it's so important that we find books with African American characters, with African American dads on the cover, to kind of, get rid of that stereotype that, our dads are absent, they're not involved, they don't have good relationships with their children, which is untrue. And so I wanted to put that book out there so children can see themselves in the literature that they're reading.
I love it. Tell the fam how they can get a copy.
Well, it's on Amazon. Shout out to you for your 16th book.
Yeah, 14.
I'm giving you 2 extra. 14th book. I have a long way to go. But this again is on Amazon. It was a top new release, stayed #1 for several weeks, and so I really appreciate the family, the Black Educators Rock family, the Principals Academy family, everyone, the Village family, everyone who have supported this project and really shared it and purchased the book, gave great feedback on Amazon to keep it at the top. So I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Now you have another one, and talk to us about that one as well.
Yeah, so Set Your Team on Fire. This is, again, this is my passion, talking about instructional leadership, and making sure that we as administrators pour into our teachers as leader. Like you said in your book, what is my value instructionally? How do I support my teachers instructionally? That's what my book is all about. We need to set our teams on fire. And it starts with building your teacher's capacity, not just instructionally, but also as a leader. Too often, one of the mistakes that administrators do early on is to try to do everything themselves. Yeah. And they forget that they have a team. They have an admin team, they have an instructional team, they have teacher leaders, they have teachers who are on fire, who are passionate and are change agents in their building. So again, if you set your team on fire, you can change the culture of your building, where everyone's on fire, where everyone's committed to the work, where everyone's rolling up their sleeves and saying, hey, what can I do to help put our school on the map, put our school number one, to help our children meet those goals. So if you're meeting with your team and all you're doing is complaining and venting and talking about what the parents aren't doing, how the students are lazy, they don't want to do work, if it's just a vent session, you just need to end the meeting. Yeah. Because if we're going to be doing our professional learning communities, we need to be looking at the data. We need to be looking, like you hold up the mirror, Principal Confetti, like we need to be reflecting on our practices and our structures that we have in place and say, how can we improve our practices? How can we improve our capacity as leaders and teachers? And also, how do we support our students? So you have to do both. You have to talk about teacher practice and student achievement all together. So again, I'm on fire, Principal Confetti. Like you say it every week, you scream it, but we have to make sure our teachers and our students are on fire as well.
I love it. So same thing with Amazon?
Yes, sir. And again, this was another top new release when it came out a while ago. So again, I appreciate the family for always supporting the projects that I put out. I have a long way to go to catch up with you, Principal Confetti, but I want to thank you and give you your flowers now. I am a huge follower of Principal Confetti. Those of you who are not going to the Summer Institute, y'all better sign up. I feel like I cheated a little bit. I haven't gotten my book yet, Principal Confetti, because mine is back ordered as well. Yeah. But I received a sneak peek at the conference this summer, at the charter school conference. And you gave us a few little pointers from the book. Yeah. So I cheated a little bit because I already know a few of the nuggets. So I appreciate
you. Yeah, appreciate you. Well, look here, I know you got a busy one today with your niece, yes. And I appreciate you stopping through. Yeah. And I'll be getting my copy of the other one is on this table, but I'll be getting the new one as well.
Thank you, and happy birthday to Mama.
Yeah.
And, happy birthday to my oldest son too, Anthony. His birthday is today as well.
Ujima, happy birthday to Anthony. Let him know I said it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Doc. See you soon.
Yes.
All right. All right. It's time. Hey, y'all, it's time to bring the guest on up here. So let me just change that background right quick. We got a lot to talk about, and we're gonna talk about it. So let's go. I'll just go in the order that I see y'all. I got to get rid of Roz. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Now let me get the Tammy down there. There we go. Now let me fix this screen and get it looking like something. I don't like what I see so far. Let's see. There we go. I like that. Hey y'all. How we doing?
Barigani.
Dreamer. Yeah. To the fam out there, as you know, this is the Fantastic Three. One of us, Sean, has a family obligation. His daughter's a ball player, b-ball, basketball. And as he said on his platform, family first, I agree. So he's taking care of that by being in attendance for her. She's a senior. And we hold it down with us. So for those of you that may be new to either of our platforms, why don't you just a brief synopsis? I'm gonna just go in the order that I have you on the screen. Matter of fact, I'll go in the order of the time we come on. So Dr. Houston, who are you as an educator?
As an educator, I am a administrative leader. I'm a district director for the secondary interventions in Chester County School District. But as a consultant for Create and Educate, we mentor principals, especially those who are in school improvement. I love working with principals. That's one of my passions, especially principals who really need that vulnerability. So, what we offer is what we call self selected coaching. A lot of times, when you're in school improvement, you're assigned a coach where you might not be able to be completely vulnerable, but we enjoy those true, authentic conversations where we're really able to help and build people.
Love it, love it. Dr. Tammy Taylor, who are you as an educator?
As an educator, Dr. Tammy Taylor is an elementary school principal who is striving and thriving in that space just because it is definitely what I have been assigned to do. Shika told you just what our company is all about, and it's about building people, and primarily as she mentioned, is coaching leaders. But another thing that we really like to focus on, and I think it's a passion for me, I know that because of structures and protocols and um, systems that are in place in my space at this time, we've been able to make some of the strides that we've been able to make. So we are your system doctors, HERS, and that's another part of the work that we do, helping people to recognize where there are a lack of protocols in your systems and creating systems that allow for your schools to be able to thrive.
Excellent, excellent. Dr. Marie Moreno, I've been trying to do my Spanish for the past few weeks. Every time I say your name, which is every Saturday when I'm announcing the platform, I've been saying Dr. Mari Moreno, and it's close enough, I hope. But so Dr. Mari Moreno, talk to us. Who are you?
Well, thank you, Principal Cofelli, and thank you for having us here this morning. Who am I? Well, let me tell you, I am a administrator who, or an educator who's been in the business for almost 30 years. 28 of them is in administration, believe it or not. I am passionate about newcomers, immigrant refugees. And so I opened up the newcomer school in the Houston Independent School District 20 years ago. And I absolutely love your beginning because it was talking about how you have to crystallize it. And now that I'm no longer in the chair, as Josh talks about, I'm a consultant now. I see myself how I crystallize that. This whole time I was working as a school administrator, I was working very, very passionate about my educators, my students. I had students from 32 countries speaking 29 languages. And so today as a consultant, I support teachers and students in districts across the country, and also going internationally now and going to Mexico, Uganda, Tanzania, to support students and teachers and the people there who need to learn a couple of tools to help them acquire language and learn English in those countries so that they can have a better life. So I'm absolutely loving what I'm doing today because of the work that I put 30 years into this. So thank you so much.
All time. Thank you back. Great stuff. And my man, Josh Tovar.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, I'm Josh Tovar, proud principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland, ID, Garland, USA, who has had 32 years under his belt, who has started from a history teacher wanting his kids to love history as much as he does, to now evolving his why to an individual that's a champion for kids, an individual that's a champion for at-risk, vulnerable kids from other parts of the country and those that were not wanted by the comprehensive schools that come to our home to ensure that they get the best second chapter of their life after they get their high school diploma, to where my why now every single last day that I wake up is ensuring that we end that pipeline from high school to prison. No more orange jumpsuits. It has to start from Tammy, from the elementary level all the way to high school level. And never forget that that is someone's kid. That is our why, and that should be our why. And if we forget that, we will get frustrated, because remember, our parents sent the best version of their kids to us every single last day. And yes, they do know that they're problematic. Yes, there is a Baruti Cafele in our classrooms. Yes, there is a Josh Toar talking back to you in Spanish, because I know you don't know Spanish, and I'm going to say bad words about you in front of you. And I know that, but you know what? That's the best version of the student that we're sending. And us as educators, we don't need to accept that. We're not going to condone that, but we're going to do everything to make a connection with kid. And that's why Rita Pearson said we need to be their champion. By how? Making a connection with them. And that will ensure that our why comes to light. Thank you.
Love it. Love it. To the fam out there, again, hit the share button, retweet button, repost, text, call. Let somebody know we're here, including those Facebook groups, and hit that like button 1,000,000 times. That's we live in an algorithm world, and that's how we activate these algorithms. We're not the celebrities that just come on and 1,000,000 people watch. We just regular folks like y'all, and so we gotta use these other strategies, right? So anyway, and in putting this together, you know, my initial thoughts, and I reached out to my colleagues, and they agreed. I wanted to bridge the gap between last calendar year now, 2024, and going into 2025, in that let's all exhale mode. What are some things that we could be talking to you all about in terms of that transition to the new year, but yet being in that mode where you just kind of exhale and let it go, release, and here you are between 2024, 2025 in terms of being in the building. So that's where we are. Dr. Taylor and Dr. Houston, we didn't talk off mic. If you want to read your notes out loud and expound, feel free. If you want me to read it, then I can do that, and then you expound. What's okay? You gonna take it over?
No, it doesn't matter to me. It's fine.
So, yep. So you have them in front of you, right?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead and let's go to your first one, and you the floor is yours.
Okay. So as I was reflecting about this, I put that many times we define ourselves through our roles. When we introduced ourselves, you asked us who we are as educators. But what I wanted people to think about, have you taken the time to define who you are aside from any role or title that you hold? So when I asked myself that question, who is Sheikah? Not the mom, not the sister, not the friend, not the leader, but just Sheikah. And because I've asked the question, I do have an answer. So first and foremost for me, I define myself as God's daughter. I think I'm reasonable and logical. I'm a woman who enjoys studying people, passages, and events to gain a deeper understanding. I love to find the message and the deeper meaning into things, because I think that there's a message in just about everything. I love long walks. My favorite place is the beach. I love to travel. I love to learn. And I am a lover of all art forms. So when you're able to just sit down, the name of this show is Exhale, Breathe. When you're able to do that for yourself, just sit in a quiet space and really think about who you are outside of any role. And then my advice to you, when you're able to do that, or if you've done it, keep that near you and read it often, and never lose who that person is.
I love it. And I should have said to everybody, feel free to jump in on each other's comments, and I certainly want to jump in on this one. I remember, and to the fam out there as well, because we're talking to y'all. I remember when I've been married for 35 years. I've been a principal. I became a principal in 1998. And I remember when in my marriage, Baruti and principal would get blurry, right? So I you know, as I reflect back on it right now, I literally know when I was Principal Kafele in the marriage, right? And what I love most about my marriage now, and I don't know that my wife and I have had this conversation at this level, but she hears me. When I enjoy it most is when I have completely left Principal Kafele in this chair, and I become Baruti, and I'm gonna be honest with you, she's the more dominant one than me when I'm in that mode. Right now, if I slip in the principal, then it's the whole dynamic shifts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very deliberate about just be Baruti, because I don't have to be that guy to my wife, right? So I'm saying that to just dovetail with you, Dr. Houston, that some of y'all out there, check yourself, because you may be in relationships with your significant other, your children, your parent, your family, your friends, and you may be the principal, the leader in those relationships sometime, as opposed to leaving that stuff in the closet somewhere, right? Leaving that stuff back home and just being you. Because you know, you guys will never see it, but my wife sees it. I'm a real silly guy, right? But you don't see that part. She sees it to the extent like we bring it down, right? that type of thing, right? But if I brought that principal guy, and I'm all, y'all know Principal Kafele, so I don't have to explain that, So keep that in mind, y'all, in terms of your sanity. I know that was your point, Dr. Houston. It's just that when I read all of y'all stuff, that was the one that got me the most, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind, y'all. I appreciate you, Dr. Phillips. Anybody else want to jump in?
And just not I would just say real quick, let's not forget that we're all human beings. We're all children of Christ. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's been my experience being in 2 cities, 3 districts, that there are people that get hung up on their titles.
Mm-hmm.
And they treat you, once they move up, they treat you a different way. And it's crucial that you don't forget who you are. You're still someone that eats their cereal the same way as everybody else.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, sometimes you have to have some hard conversations,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you're fighting what your vision is for that school, for those children. Mm-hmm. And some people are going to be in oppositional forces to you because they don't agree. They want the easy way out, and their conflict will begin there. And you're not. And if you have to throw your title, you don't have the title. If you have to say I'm a principal, then you're not the principal, because you have to claim the title.
Yeah.
So the only thing, I think one of the best compliments I received is, I always, and you all know this, call me Josh. Don't call me sir. Don't call me Tovar. I mean, just call me Josh. And everybody that I meet that's brand new, yes or no, just call me Josh. And that's one of the best compliments I received from my colleagues, always from here in El Paso, because I'm back home in El Paso right now. Is like, the good thing about you, Josh, is that you never changed.
Mm-hmm.
You still speak the way I'm talking to you. I remove a couple explicit language sometimes. I don't use some sassy words that come out of this mouth very fluently. But, but let me tell you one thing. I will tell you the honest truth. And there's this wise man I know that reminds me of this weekly. And he states, you cannot fake the funk, because sooner or later, your nose will grow. So you can't portray this and act this.
Right.
So your title, the money is going to come with it, but just don't forget, you're still the Lord's servant.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There you go.
I think that one thing I would like to add, Principal Kafele, because when Shika is talking about being true to who you are, that authenticity is such an important part of us and our DNA as leaders. But when we decompress and we kind of just, I'm just Tammy, that's who I am. I'm unashamedly Tammy. I am the person. I give my energy from me. I like to be with me more than anybody else. And I don't let people back me into a corner and make me feel inadequate because of that. I find the strength in who I am, and I'm very thankful. And I try not to get those lines blurred, but it reminded me when Sheikah was talking of a time when we first started our work as consultants. You know, we have a lot of people who are pouring into us and encouraging us that, yeah, you girls, you can do this. Get out there, do what you do. Principal Hurd, Dr. Chika Akua had us to come and do some work for him, and because he was mentoring us and trying to help us to make sure we were getting our footing, afterwards when he was debriefing with us, he said something that I think stuck with both of us, and it kind of toned us down a little bit. He said, you guys did a phenomenal job. It was incredible, but y'all are real intense. Y'all got um scale back some. You gotta calm down some. And that simple advice kind of humanized, I think, us in the work that we do. Not that I was insensitive to people before, because I thought we were doing giving people what I like. Like I was talking to people like I like people to talk to me, because I really am all about the technicalities of things. And Dr. Akua said, no, y'all got to bring that down some. You two are real intense, and that can be very intimidating. And so we had to kind of start thinking about the way we interact with people, including ourselves, and start talking through, show people who you really are. Let them see who you are for real. And I think that has been a real blessing for us.
Definitely.
I love that he shared that with you, because that's real. And I think that a lot of my own personal success is because people get to see, whether it be social media or when I'm out, they get to see me not being intense. I can get intense. I can also transition out of it, and that's good advice he gave you. That's good stuff. Let's go to I'm looking at the clock. I know I use a lot of it, but let's let me go to the second one, because we got a lot here. Tim, you want to read? You got your notes with you?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, go ahead. Take that first one.
Okay. So my first one was
I should have said Dr. Taylor. I don't use these scripts like
I'm fine with Timmy, I promise. Day after tomorrow, we will celebrate the fifth principle of Kwanzaa, Nia, which is purpose. How do we finish the school year with purpose and commitment, moving into the second semester to developing our community, our schools, while honoring our purpose and commitment to ourselves, and taking time to be purposeful about our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being? And just like Sheikah, I do have an answer to that. I think that the way that we finish strong is by keeping our eyes on what first things really are first. And that first thing being making sure you know exactly what that purpose is. Because when we talk about Nia, Principal Kafele said something so powerful when he was getting through his introduction for the morning. You have to recognize that you are where you are for a reason, and that assignment that you've been given is a part of the purpose that God has given to you, wherever it is He has placed you. And I think that if we commit ourselves to, instead of thinking of our purpose as a sentence and working so hard, like it's like serving us time, you make it so, again, intense that you lose the joy and the pleasure of fulfilling the purpose. Instead, we can approach our purpose as an assignment, because that's what it is. Like, I am on an assignment where I am to do a work that I have been assigned to do by my Creator. And when I approach it from through that lens, I can approach it with the knowledge of knowing that I can be at my best. I can be my best physically. I can be my best mentally. I can be my best emotionally and spiritually. So what I have to do is carve out the purpose. Make sure I know it. Number one, that's the first thing. Habakkuk says in the Bible that you have to write the vision and make it plain. If you don't know exactly what you feel like the purpose that you have is, you need to take some time and identify that and write it down. I have been in a place before because I was not in the correct place to do what I needed to do. My assignment was not being fulfilled. And that's why I didn't feel like I was working in my purpose. I really didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. And until you get to that place where you have identify what it is that God has assigned you to do, you kind of flounder. And so if you don't know what the purpose is, figure that out. That's the first thing I need you to do. And then after you've figured out what the purpose is, make sure that you are doing what it takes to honor the purpose that you have been given to assigned to do. And then after you've gotten that assignment, you're on track for making it happen, stay that course. Just do that and do it with simplicity instead of intensity. Do it in a way that makes what you do pleasurable to you. Like you should not feel like when you're fulfilling your purpose that this is a arduous chore that you're doing. You should find joy in the work that you do. And the way that you can best find that joy is through making sure you're doing what it is you're supposed to be doing.
You said something, and I need you to take it deeper. And if for no one else, for me. You said with simplicity, without intensity. Like what are you saying? Go deeper with that for me.
I'm saying like what, and I was thankful that you let me go next because it kind of goes back to what Dr. Akua was telling Shika and me that day. Like the assignment that you have has to be fulfilled, but the way that we approach that, I think, can determine whether or not we are stressing people out with the work or if we're bringing them along with us and all of us are able to do our parts. And so, we kind of have a well-oiled machine. Everything is flowing like it should flow instead of everybody being on pins and needles because I'm walking around so intense and I'm so hard nosed about I know what I want to see happen and I know what I need to happen. And so this is what's going to happen in relation to that. I think relatively when you approach things a little bit differently than that, simply my expectation is that we're all here to fulfill these assignments. This is you, this is you, this is you. And then I respond accordingly to that. I think it creates that space that the climate is different and the culture is one that we all pull our weight, yes, but none of us have to feel so overwhelmed by the assignment that we're on that we're frustrated about the work that we're doing. Instead, we're making this work relevant to the people who are doing it and the people that we're doing it for.
And if I could jump in, when we talk on our platform about the messaging, we know that things have to happen and those things are very serious. But if you don't state it in a way where it's digestible for people, if you don't state it in a way where people are going to receive it, if you haven't stated it when it's time for people to receive it, no one is going to receive what you're passionate about. And so when we all have a purpose, we have to keep that in mind. So I think that with that simplicity, you have to break it down to where it is digestible for people to be able to receive it, to be able to do the work.
Yeah.
For sure.
Powerful stuff. Let's move on. Dr. Medano. I'm trying, man. I can't roll the Mars, man.
Hey, you're doing great. You're doing awesome. I love it. Most people can't even get to that. So we're good.
I got to work on it. I just don't want to say Dr. Moreno. I want to sound like I'm trying, man. Do you have your notes? You want me to read it?
I have my notes.
Yeah, go ahead. Take that first one.
My first question is, as you reflect on the past year, what moments of personal growth or success can you celebrate? And how can you carry that sense of accomplishment into the new year to boost your confidence and motivation? To me, it's always about reflection, right? And so how do we take what we've learned this past year so that we can use it as a springboard to end strongly for the upcoming or the rest of the year? And one of the things that I can say to everyone out there is, we have to celebrate even the small things, not only for ourselves, but even for the kids. When I talk to educators across the country, I tell people, and it's one of my 32 different tips that I provide to have a powerful, a very trauma-sensitive classroom, and it's celebrations for it at the smallest level. Some kids don't even feel that celebration. They didn't get the perfect attendance. They didn't get the honor roll. They didn't get any of these things. So our kids need to feel success just like we do. Mm-hmm. And so I always tell my teachers, look at every single child in your classroom. How can they feel that success? Even if it means you had less discipline referrals this month from last month, right? If kids don't feel success, they never feel empowered to do better, right? Mm-hmm. Because they've never been recognized to say, you know what, I was good at something. Mm-hmm. So it's important for kids to feel that. And when you have kids that have never been recognized, never been celebrated, never been spotlighted, never been highlighted, then they kind of spiral into this world of, well, no one cares, no one even knows me, no one even, recognizes me. And so when kids feel or taste a little bit of success, they tend to want more. Mm-hmm. And so I always ask my teachers, I always ask my principals, how do you celebrate success on your campus? How do you celebrate success in your classrooms? How do you celebrate success in your district? Because principals need to feel success too. Teachers need to feel success. We all need it. Mm-hmm. So as educators, I always want to look back and see, how do we celebrate success? And so I just want to just spotlight really fast, this past Christmas, I did something I've never done before. I had the opportunity to celebrate what I felt was something that kids haven't felt. I went to the refugee camps in the southern border of Texas and Mexico. It was about 1,500 kids in these refugee camps waiting for their asylum opportunity to get through the border and come here legally through, the asylum process. But I went there and I went there before Christmas and I saw their sad faces. I saw, and I said to myself, you know what, how can I bring them joy? How can I make them celebrate something small enough that I can have a little smile on their face? So I was able to round up, stuffed animals and toys and puzzles and stuff. And I took them down to the border and we did a little mini celebration. To me, those are kids. They needed to have a smile on their face. Just like I want my kids here in the United States to feel success, I wanted them to feel just a sliver of hope. And so it warmed my heart to see smiles on their face, to see that they could be a kid for just a few seconds or a few minutes a day, for them to enjoy themselves. So I think it's important for us to celebrate and reflect on what we did well this past year and how do we use this as a springboard so that when we come back in January and fresh for the new semester, how do we then look upon ourselves, look in that mirror and say, how am I celebrating the kids in my classroom, the teachers in my school, and the folks in my district?
Yeah, I love it. And I'm thinking about when I go, and I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but also how are we even recognizing what we were successful doing this year? Because we can become so overburdened by just the work, the challenges, and, and literally miss all the successes, all the wins. We didn't even see it, right? Didn't even acknowledge it because we were so engrossed in the things that stress us, right? The things that challenge us, the things that trouble us. So at some point when you're in these leadership roles, and I'm just dovetailing with you, Dr. Moreno. I'm just dovetailing with you that fam out there with my dirty mirror. You got to make sure that you go here and recognize the good in you. We missed that. I missed it for years of myself. I don't miss it no more though, right? But you got to do that as well. Great stuff. Great stuff. Anybody want to chime in?
I just love what Dr. Moreno stated, and that I got to work on rolling my R's too. But as a director of secondary interventions, one of the things that I tell my interventionists is that we're really student advocates, because our students really are the ones that a lot of people have written off or sentenced to tier three. And so we have to make people realize that these children are successful at something, and they don't naturally gravitate towards something that we have historically year after year told them that they're not good at. So we have to make sure that they experience success, and we have to be intentional about it. And so one of the things we got from one of the people from BR, Dr. I don't know why my mind is going blank. Pastor from Florida. Who am I thinking of, Tim?
A pastor?
The I can see his face. The Positive Note campaign we got from him. Presley, Principal Presley.
Principal Presley.
Yeah. So the Positive Note campaign that we got from Principal Presley, we would make sure that every team kept up with whether or not every child received something positive. I didn't care if it was about their clothes, their shoes. You got to say something positive about this child this year, not just to them, but also to their families, because that's important. It's important for children to be seen, heard, and loved. So I love that you said that we have to be intentional about making sure that they experience success. And I just wanted to tell a story of a young man who I mentor. In seventh grade, he lost his mom to a car accident. And so from there, he would call me mom. So I have been in touch with him, and making sure he's good in school since that time, and even before that time. But he's a senior this year, and he was in a program where he wasn't going to get what he felt like he needed in order to graduate. So he found a program online that's going to make sure that he can get into welding. Originally, they weren't even going to put him in welding until I made a big deal about it. But he's in there now, and he's the top welder in the class. But the welding teacher called me and was like, he's not doing what he's supposed to do. And so I talked to him. I was like, what's going on with you? You know, you told me that this is what you wanted. We got you in there. And he said, well, what's the point? I'm not going to have what I need to get a job when I graduate. So what's the point? So now that he has found a program to get him what he needs to be able to be a welder when he graduates, this young man is just beaming all over the place. He texts me his classes where he's made A's in the classes. And a lot of times we don't even give children the opportunity. We've written them off thinking that we're, following what the assessments say. A lot of times that they don't even show us what they're truly capable of, because sometimes of who's giving it, and sometimes we haven't even told them what it's going to mean for the assessment. So I am just really elated about that he has found his success and that he's going to be able to graduate with a high school diploma at the end of the year that wasn't going to happen before. So I am
It
truly
really is
proud of him.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
Mhm.
good stuff.
He's that purpose. I think he has tapped into now too, what his purpose is. And if I may, Principal Kafele, I just wanted to say, Dr. Moreno, that we are at that place where it's important that the message that you just sent is heard by people who supervise leaders, because everybody needs to be celebrated. Everybody needs to feel successful. And I know how important it is to make sure that the children are feeling successful too. It's because it makes the school the same with the teachers. However, if someone doesn't sort through and figure out soon that leaders need that same kind of encouragement, that same kind of support, we're going to be in a very juxtaposed position, because people faint in positions when they feel like I'm giving it everything that I have, and there is no sunshine behind the rainbow. So
Yeah.
Man, great stuff. You know,
Can I just add something, Jefe, real quick?
Yeah,
and it's got to be authentic.
Yes.
And consistent.
Right.
As kids smell a phony, so do we.
That's right.
You might be an area superintendent, you might be a director, superintendent. Your body language throughout the year will tell me if your comment is authentic. Because you say it publicly one time, but the rest of the year you're a phony, ignoring the text, then you're just faking the funk. I'd rather you not do it than do it in a phony way that's not meant. In Spanish, we say, "Te tiene que nacer del corazón." It's gotta come out. You gotta want to say it. Te tiene que nacer. If not, then don't do it. And if you start doing A honor roll kind of stuff, you just can't do it the first report card.
That's right.
You got to do it the whole year. So don't start something you're not gonna finish, because then you're being a phony.
Yeah,
that's part of it. Yeah, start it. It's great advice, ladies. Start it. But if you do it only once, then you're faking the funk. What about that kid that busted his ass and got to A honor roll, the fourth report card, and you stopped doing it? Shame on you.
That's right.
True.
You know, before we transition to Josh, as far as his point, I wanted to share this. I wanted to share this with you all in the fam. A staple in my conversations with my wife. Different people in the arts, entertainment, sports, writing, who are considered phenomenal. Like, let me just highlight a Stevie Wonder, right? And Elton John, and I can go on. And I'll say to my wife, I said, these are special people. They have a certain gift, a certain talent, right? But then the way the conversation will flow is I'll always say to her, but how do you think they found out they had it? You know, a Prince with the guitar, right? And again, I could just list all of Michael Jordan, you know, all of these people with these special gifts that it doesn't necessarily come with practice. Of course, they practice, but there's something in them. But this is an ongoing conversation we have about different people that just we see. And I saw something that crystallized it on television yesterday. As they're doing the promo for the Luther Vandross special, they had this clip, and maybe you all know this story, where Luther was singing background to Roberta Flack. And he said that Roberta Flack said, I can't have you sitting on that stool singing backup for me anymore. And Luther says she essentially fired me, right? They're going to show that on the first. She essentially fired me because she was telling me, and this is me now, because she was telling him, you're a lead singer. You're not a background singer. And when I processed that, because of the conversations my wife and I have, I said, I wonder if he would have been who we knew him to become had Roberta Flack not said that to him and essentially got rid of him for that reason, right? So here's why I'm bringing all this up. because I have to believe that there are children in classrooms every day and adults who walk it through life every day. Also are special people, but no one ever led them to finding their talent, finding their gift. Right. See, like I don't call myself a writer. I call myself an author. Michael Eric Dyson is a writer. Malefi Asante, Milana Karenga, these are writers, these are scholars, these are researchers. I'm just somebody who has the audacity to take his thoughts and put them on paper, right? But I don't call myself some gifted writer because I'm not. I know that. However, and this is big, and then I'm gonna throw it at y'all. My role models when I went through my transformation beginning in 1984 were all authors. Those were like, I read a book and now you're my hero, right? So I'm reading these books. But my other role models were all speakers, your Malcolms, your Kings, your Garveys, and so on and so forth. So what did I become? And then Dr. Carter G. Woodson with education. I became an educator. I became a writer. I became a speaker, right? Because of what I surrounded myself with. But the thing is, that's the only thing I surrounded myself with. I didn't look at anything else but those three things. Right? But it translated into, but you can do that too.
Yeah.
So somebody holler back, what about that youngster that doesn't have that stimuli in their lives, or doesn't have those folks that have the wherewithal to tell him or her that you have something very special too? You don't have to look at the folks in your media because you got something in you too. What are your thoughts about that? Because that kid is in classrooms every day.
Yeah. One of the things that as I turned the school around with my staff members in the beginning, I knew that a lot of people didn't believe in the children. Some of them didn't believe we were going to get out of the school improvement status. So I knew a lot of the things that I saw in the children as well as the teachers, that I had to be the motivator for the school. So the person that they had to hear was my voice. And so during the town hall meetings, and that's something that we've gotten from you, Principal Kafele, every Monday over the loudspeaker, that was my message. You know, you all are great. I see your greatness. I see what you're going to be. And, you know, I knew a lot of them didn't believe it at first, but when that messaging, Josh, was consistent, I didn't stop coming with it. Every week, you all have greatness. I see it in you. I don't care what you decide to be. You don't necessarily have to be in GT to be great, because a lot of you all that are going to be plumbers and electricians, you're gifted too. How many people can wire up a house or plumb up a house? That takes giftedness to do that. So everybody has greatness. The messaging had to be consistent and come from me, because a lot of people didn't believe it. But when the messaging didn't stop, and the children, I believe, started to believe it before even some of the adults. And when the adults saw the shift in the children, when they saw the children's behavior change, then something came on for them. So I think that, you know, you're spot on when Dr. Nelson, boss educator, says that we're purpose pushers. We are. We are in our position so that children can find their purpose. That's the whole point of us being in the positions that we are in, because our purposes are not about us. They're about other people. Our gifts are for other people. They're not for us.
And I think, I'm sorry, Dr. Mariana, go ahead.
So it's kind of what Sheikah's talking about. So, but it begins from the leadership, right? When the leader is talking over the announcements and saying this consistently, it then needs to trickle down to the teachers, because it can't just come from the principal, right? It can't just become the leader saying this. It has to then trickle down. The teachers need to be saying that same message, so that the kids who see this teacher in front of them every single day can then start believing. I always tell my teachers, because they'll say, oh my God, these kids don't care. They don't want to learn. They're saying, I tell people all the time, expect resistance.
Mhm.
If you're going to work with kids that are at risk, work with kids that are immigrants, work with kids that are refugees, new to the country, new to the whole system, expect resistance. If they're not resisting, then they're an anomaly. They're the rare folks, right? The rare kids that we all want. We all want those kids, but the kids that are the most at risk, the kids that are the most challenging, they're not going to say, oh, my teacher believes in me. They're going to say, leave me alone, miss, you do too much, leave me alone, I don't want to why are you doing so much to me? They are going to say that, and it's us as educators to say, you know what, I hope you have a good day, mijito, I hope you have a good day, son or daughter or whatever, child, student, adult, whatever. I will see you later on. Have a good day. And then the next day, try it again and keep on going at it.
Yep.
And don't give up on that child. Because I was doing a speaking event the other day, and one of the audience members said, what do you do to those kids that just don't want your help? And they'll say, leave me the, F alone or something. And I said to him, well, think of that kid who's always been left alone, who is his parents always say, get out of my house, I'm not going to be with, they always are being dismissed. When have they ever had the opportunity to be embraced, to be loved, to be heard, to be seen? So it's going to take some repair, some trust, some support. So I tell everybody out there, expect that from our kids. And they will. I promise you. I've met a lot of kids that were my most challenging kids. Years later, they came back and they said, you know what? Thank you for not giving up on me, because guess what? Now I am a college graduate, or now I have a family, and now I understand. Because your words matter, your actions matter. It's like what we're talking about. You got to be consistent. Even though they're pushing you back, we just got to somehow make our way, or kind of wedge our way into their lives, so that they can say, you know what, I know you believe in me, and I've never felt that before. And so they don't know how to react to that.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear you say that, and kind of going back to one of the points too that Sheikah made when she was talking about how the town hall meeting does kind of set that tone. And you're right, Dr. Moreno, you have to really get to that point where it isn't just the messaging of leadership, but it becomes a part of the way that we do business in this space. This is a part of the culture, the climate that we have in this school, that we cultivate a place for these kids to be their best selves. And it really was refreshing to hear Principal Kafele, that you and Queen Kafele have that conversation about the grades, because it's something that just has always been a mystery to me. Like, I love the story of Whitney Houston, because you just think about, like, gosh, this is so beyond just talent. And you sit and you're thinking, like, I'm in classes, and sometimes I'm sitting there listening to the children, and I'm sitting and wondering, like, this could be our next president at some point down the line, who is debating and arguing in first grade with the teacher about why we need to do a certain thing. Or they've nicknamed the student the girl cot because she's so into Martin Luther King and his boycotts and all those things. You're thinking, who do I have access here to? So you know what? We have to treat them like they could be that next grade.
That's right.
So we are very humbled, I am, to know that there are children that are entrusted to us who not just have greatness, because she could say it, all of them have greatness in them.
Mm-hmm.
But this could be that next great thing. Like this is beyond that regular great with the Prince playing guitar kind of playing. Not my I'm taking some guitar lessons, but this is just some incredible ability that God's given. So it's an honor to be, for that reason, to be a principal of students who we are supposed to be preparing them for that next great thing for them, whatever their best thing is going to be, and cultivating a space where they can thrive truly and become all that they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, I won't belabor this because I know we got Josh next, but it's just, it's like I said before, these are conversations that my wife and I have all the time. It's usually me that brings it up. We see somebody and it's like, but see, it's not just in the entertainment world. Like there are barbers all over the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there are master barbers.
That's right.
They're at a different level. Mm-hmm. And it's like, when and how did you realize that you had something with the clippers in your hand? Mm-hmm. That intrigues me. Like how does one discover that? How did Ray Charles, blind, discover that he's a master on the piano? Mm-hmm. See, that all of that intrigues me.
Me too.
And what if they never found it? Like, who would Ray Charles have been? Had he not, whatever led him to the keyboard, had he not been led to it? Then who would this person known as Ray Charles have been? Who would Prince have been? Who would Michael Jordan have been? Right? Mm-hmm. So, we find something. Who would Tammy and Sheikah and Madi and Josh have been? Because all of you have done tremendous things in your profession. But what if you weren't steered that way? Mm-hmm. Right? Because each of you, and I'm not even putting myself in there, each of you are passionate about what you do. Mm-hmm. Just the labor of love of coming on Saturday and Sunday. That's a labor of love. You're passionate about this work, that you would give of your time, including the preparation, which probably a lot of people don't realize, but the preparation that goes into these platforms on Saturday and Sunday, right? But because of your passion, but you found the passion, and now you're living the passion, and inclusive of the passion is what you do online. So, but what if you didn't find it? Mm-hmm. Then we wouldn't be having this conversation right now because we wouldn't know each other.
That's right.
See, so that's what I mean. I'm intrigued by that, but I take it back to the school. I take it back to the home. Who's reminding or informing youngster that there's something there? You got kids you got people that go to the grave with all this talent that was never tapped into.
Yep.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So are we playing that role of, when I see something, I let you know about it?
Right.
Yeah. I always prided myself as a teacher, as a principal. I would tell them, I see something. Mm-hmm. Right. So that matters. Like it's like, if I could find it real quick for you, I want to put something on the screen here. If I could find it. Where we at? Oh my God, where is it? I want to show y'all something, man. It's so far back. Here we go. All right. Like I've said this before, and I'm just going to say it again. I'm clear on and I'm gonna say this with you listening, Armin. I'm clear on my responsibility. Mm-hmm. This is a sophomore in high school of the school that Dr. Marcus Jackson graduated from, right? He's a sophomore. He did a presentation recently with school leaders and used one of my videos, right? Wow. So he sent me a picture with me on the screen and the classmates in the class. So somebody has steered him.
Right.
And I know he has a relationship with his principal, but he came into my orbit. And now I have a certain responsibility, right? Because he entered my orbit, right? And see, who knows what he's going to become? He's only a sophomore.
Right.
He's watching the AP and New Principals Academy.
He's inspiring all of us. Every time I see him on there, I'm inspired.
Yeah, yeah.
And speaking of Dr. Marcus Jackson, he's taught us that children of promise, because messaging and words matter. Back to your point, Dr. Moreno, about trust, one of the things that I would tell the teachers is that when children don't trust you, a lot of times it's because in schools of promise, they see people come in and out of their lives because we have a revolving door. So when you come here, I would say that in my interviews, we need you to be committed. This is not a place where children need to see more people walk out of their lives after a year. We don't need one and dones. I was intentional about saying that. If you're here, I need you to be committed to our students because trust is built on what they see. And if they continue to see revolving doors, that can never build because everything that I see is just people coming in and out. Who really cares about us? And those messages have to really go to the adults about, are you really serious about being here? Because we're doing serious work here. That has to be said by the leader.
Yeah,
it's for sure.
Hey, Josh, when I asked you all for the talking points, Josh wrote me back and said, we don't even get to them all. I know. And as you guys see me kind of leaning over like this, and I'm gonna go right to Josh. My wife and daughter just left to go see my father-in-law. So they were trying to tell me, you got the dog. And so if you saw me talking muted, like, why? What am I going to do with the dog while I'm on? He's under me right now crying. So I'm just trying to console him. He's sad right now, man.
Hey, Principal Cofelli, did you see my dog just pop up for a few seconds? He's like,
really?
I need to go outside. And I was like, there's a tornado watch outside. No one's going outside. Stop it.
It really is a tornado watch?
Yeah, I just sent the message to Josh. I said, Josh, have a tornado watch. So if my internet goes out, it's because I'm supposed to be in a closet right now.
Maybe you should just go ahead to the block, because I know are you in the part of Texas where there was one this week?
Yes, I'm in Houston.
Oh, wow.
Well,
whoa.
Yeah, it just said a tornado warning in the area. So, and I just hear it. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Yeah, I do.
Stay safe, honey.
Yeah, be safe.
If you feel you need to go get shelter, go ahead. We'll handle it.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And prayers to you.
Yes.
The joke with climate change and tornadoes are popping up in seasons when they never did before. So Josh, you want me to read it? Yeah. No, that's not yours. Here we go. How will you hold yourself accountable to ensure you carve in time for your physical care?
Well, there's this one guy that I know who's always telling us about getting their 3 miles in.
Yeah.
But that cat don't go to gyms because he's scared of the cooties. So he'd rather be
outside in 20 degrees.
He'd rather be walking in frigid air out in the cold in New Jersey. But I don't know, to each their own. It's, the older that we get,
my gloves.
There you go. There you go. It's just the older that we get, we just got to take care of the shell. This is just a shell. We got the spirit that the Lord provided us, and we got to, that is already taken care of. When he gave his only son for us, that's taken care of. But it's about the actual share and how we as parents are here one day extra for our kids. Because some of us have had the not pleasure of being next to a passing mother or father. I've had both. I've lost both parents. And it's one of those things that our kids will not have us forever. So the very first thing is, educator, whatever that you do out there, whether you have a classroom of 160 papers, you got to grade every single last day, or if you have to prepare a lab and it takes you a day and a half to prepare for the lab, that's only 30 minutes. All that takes a lot of a toll on you, let alone this and the airdrops of ugly pictures that kids put in the middle of lunchtime. Or the drama of that beautiful cheerleading mom on your district Facebook page on how you didn't allow her to be front row because she was in the back row, and you just spent 7 hours on Facebook being demolished. All that kind of stuff does take a toll on you. Mm-hmm. And so the very first thing you got to take care of is, and it's sad to say, and I'm the very first one to say this, in my previous campus, I decided to take over a poor school, not only financially, but a D- school. And I put my family third or fourth. I never put my family first because I made that commitment when I interviewed. I could not complain about not being present where I chose a second interview. And so I never saw a lot of my kids at their birthdays because I was in bi-district championships. I was supporting them with freshman championship games and all that stuff. But one of the things that we lose sight of in our chair or in the classroom is our family, because we're grading those papers. We're preparing for those labs. And so you got to find that avenue. You got to find that thing, whatever that thing is to make sure that you find sanity. Sanity. And for many of us, we do it different ways. And what are you doing, educator, out there? And I'm glad that you brought up Prince. Prince is my favorite artist. If you ever want to hear the Lord talk to you through someone's hands, and I just have to say, because I was going to interrupt you, listen to Prince around rock star royalty on the tribute to the Beatles. While my guitar weeps. He told everybody, get out of my way. I'm playing this. And you're hearing the Lord through those fingers. Why am I mentioning that, how you're taking care of your health? Maybe sitting at home, just listening to whatever your music is, because music brings communities together. Music brings society together. Whatever you're doing out there, listening to other people that are in your roles. I'd like to send some flowers to Doc Marcus Jackson. He was on your podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he told a beautiful story about how he kept going to this kid's house. And the kid kept telling him, and not in a nice way, get out of here, get out of here. And he used the line, hey, my brother, obviously I cannot talk at all, even get remotely close to Marcus Jackson and his inflection. But he said, you're releasing some negative energy. And then I just had a situation like that 2 days before Christmas break. And I used the line, and right after that, it worked.
Wow.
It worked, but it has to be sincerity. You have to have had street cred with a kid to use those lines. The consistency of love. And so I text him out there, and I sent him, hey, thanks, Doc. I sent him some flowers, saying, hey, I use what you talked to with Jefe. What am I saying? I'm saying is, whatever brings you either spiritual, whether it be physical or emotional connection or professional connection to somebody else, what are you doing? And put it in the chat. What are you all doing right now, 2 weeks off, maybe some of you 3 weeks off, to refocus, to ensure that you return to your why? What are you doing, Tammy, besides watching Clemson in a game they shouldn't be playing? After the Gamecocks beat them. How dare you look at me that way?
That's why you get your stress level up. You are following the wrong people. See, I'm going to be enjoying the game, and that's why I just go with the flow.
What are you doing, Tammy? Tell me, what are you doing?
Honestly, I am for just decompressing. I came to the school last Saturday. Saturday was my birthday, and I had an epiphany while I was sitting in here. I was sitting, getting prepared to do some work that actually couldn't wait and is waiting. I decided, you know what? I am not working on my birthday. I'm getting out of here. I left and took just the day to go to Columbia. My husband sent me some money. I shopped and took myself out to dinner, just did nothing that was planned to be done. So I'm going to end this new year and moving forward, not just this new 2025 finishing the school year, but in my life moving forward, I'm committing to me to just take time to do things that I want to do, that I need to do for Tammy. instead of working 24/7 to never finish working anyway, so that I'm ahead to get behind by the time I get back Monday. It'll be here when I get back is what I decide.
Now, Tammy, inquiring minds want to know, did you only eat fish?
Actually,
that's shade, Josh. That's okay though.
I did. I had shrimp, tempura shrimp was what I had.
For those
So what are you doing?
To hold myself accountable. So one of the things, I'm in the 10,000 steps club, Josh. Now I will admit I have not been getting 10,000 steps lately, but I am going through menopause, so I've had to change my workouts from cardio to be more strength training. So I hold myself accountable through the Fit Minds, Fit Bodies Facebook group that we have. We always post our workouts, and if we don't see, somebody post, they send out APBs for you. Where you at? You working out? What you doing? So as a leader too, when I would feel myself getting stressed, I would do a lap around the whole building, and everybody knew that when you saw me walk in, that this is my alone time. I need time to get my thoughts together, get myself together. So I would take those laps around the building when I needed to recenter, refocus myself.
Dr. Moreno, what are you doing?
I am relaxing. I took 1 week off, so I am relaxing this upcoming week. I am just binge watching. I'm going to have to go back and watch the 243 other episodes of Principal Caffelli is what I need to do, because that's on my to-do notes now. So, but yeah, I have a very busy January, and then I leave to Tanzania in February. So I'm taking the entire month of February. I'm heading over to Arusha. And so I am taking it easy because I have a busy January leading up to February.
So just in closing, hand it over the stick to Jefe. I will not be doing long jumps because I'm too old to do that kind of stuff. But I'd just like to say that if you ever have you need any tips on how to relax, on how to stay focused on anything, please turn to chapter 35 of Sir Giovanni's book. We'll give you the detailed bullet steps on how to do that. Because after you paid $7,000 for that one book, it's good for something.
Yeah.
No, I continue to do this walking that I do. I mix it up with some running in the warmer weather, but I find that when I run in the cold weather, with it being that cold and I'm inhaling that cold air, it can make me sick. So I walk, so I don't have to breathe hard, but it's a power walk. I'm fast, and then just I took it way down during this break. Been doing the Kwanzaa broadcast, but that's okay. I'm passionate about that, and in preparing for this. But other than that, just taking it down, watching sports, chilling with the fam. They all here, and that's it. And then I'll be back on the road. I'll be in Garland, Texas, on January the 6th. Is it 6th or 5th? Yeah. And then I'll be going to Chattanooga the next day. When I leave you, I'll be in Chattanooga the next day, and then we'll take it down and go to Vegas. And then after that, as the young people say, it'll be on and popping, right? So that's what I'm doing, and I'm gonna be going hard until I guess until next September, so that's why I got all these vacations in. We'll probably get something in like May, but outside of that, I'll be going hard. That's what I do. But I'm passionate about that. But let me I see what time it is, man. We each got one except me. Let me get my one in here. It's probably going to be to be continued with all of us, and certainly with what I did. Fam out there, if you go to the AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel, I don't know what I called it, but it's probably the word blueprint somewhere in the title, and it's this blueprint that I create, leadership blueprint, and I use it in a variety of different ways. So in the context of today, I'm asking you a simple question. Where are you now? Self-reflectively, where am I now? And when I say that, I mean, since we're talking leadership and we're talking exhale and we're talking the bridge between 2024 and the beginning of a new year, 2025, where are you now in your leadership? Now, when I say that, I'm looking at it three ways. Number one, your situation analysis, which asks the question, where am I now? So I'm breaking this down three ways. Had this been short, as short as I thought it was going to be, I would have gotten to all of this, but there's no way in the world. And I should know that after 244 sessions that I'm not going to complete what I have on an agenda. But the question, areas where, and this is where I said I wanted to dovetail with Dr. Moreno when she was talking about celebrating those wins. Areas where I want to continue to grow. So here's my challenge to all of you out there, and to the folks who will see the video later. I want you to list, just brainstorm areas where you were successful this year or in the past, but you still want to grow in those areas. So since instructional leadership seems to be my primary area of focus these days, within the realm of instructional leadership, is this an area where you feel, yes, I'm proficient, but I can grow in that area as well? And of course, that's the umbrella. Then we can break down instructional leadership into so many component parts. But and you can do that in your list. Maybe you're very good with getting into classrooms, but you're deficient in providing feedback. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you're very good into getting into classrooms, but you're deficient in a pre-observation conversation, right? Or maybe you're good at having the pre-observation conversation, but it tends to be one-sided, you doing all the talking and the teacher sitting there doing all the listening. So it's not a real conversation. So all that can be broken down. So I'm saying here, brainstorm everything about your leadership. You can break it up into categories, as I said, that you said, I'm good, but I want to get better. This is not a category for where you said I'm deficient. I got that in the second category. This is a category where you said, I'm good here, but I know I can be stronger here. And you just brainstorm. Call that your situation analysis. You're analyzing your current situation. So if you got some more downtime during these holidays, most of you, I would think, will be returning back on Monday as opposed to Thursday of this week, right? Next Monday. So if you do, brainstorm your wins. Just list them. Might be longer than you thought. As a matter of fact, I bet you can inbox me or email me, principalcafele@gmail.com, and you'll probably find you have more wins than you thought you had, right? So just brainstorm all those areas where you're good, but you said, I can be better, right? Then secondly, areas where you need to improve your deficiencies. Brainstorm them. You could break them down into categories again to make it neater, right? And to structure it and organize it. And just brainstorm, list all the areas that you say, I'm not good here. I'm not where I need to be here. I'm not measuring up here. I'm deficient here. I'm unsatisfactory here. I'm not pleased with my growth in this particular area. List all that, right? List it all, break it up into categories. So maybe one area is your budget, right? In terms of how you spend down your budget. Maybe another area is your systems in your school, how you implement systems and ensure that they're being implemented to your satisfaction. Maybe another area is relationships. Maybe another area is school culture. Maybe another area is instructional leadership, and then the categories within. And it just goes on. And you said, man, I'm not good in this. Maybe another area is the volume of students who walk into that building late every day, right? Maybe another area is the volume of students who walk into that classroom every day late, right? So areas where I need to improve, right? It may not be you that's going to change it, but it's coming under your leadership, right? So you list that. This is your current situation, which is why I call it your situation analysis. So areas where I need to improve, your deficiencies. And then letter C, areas where I need to make a pivot. Now here, let me, and I call that in parentheses a shift. So areas where I want to grow, in parentheses my wins. Areas where I need to improve, in parentheses my deficiencies. Areas where I need to make a pivot, in parentheses a shift. So when I let me call the dog real quick. Hang on. Yeah, he ran upstairs. He's back. All right. So when I say a shift, now he up on me like I'm gonna give him something. So when I say a shift, here's what I mean: to distinguish with deficiencies. Some things we can get better. Some things we need to do differently. We need to make a pivot, right? Like this particular practice, it just can't improve. It's just not going to happen. So maybe it's something I need to rethink and do it differently, right? A shift. So that would be the situation analysis. I'm not going to go into, because this is lengthy, but just scroll the AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel. I did a whole solo session on this. It was like 2 hours long, right? So just scroll that, or let me go to it right here. The appendix. The appendix, instructional leadership blueprint. So this is it. And then I got all this text, but I want to show you something here. Then that's what the outline, let me get that right. That's what the outline actually looks like, right? And then it goes, so that's the situation analysis. Then it goes into the goals, and then it goes into the strategy. So I put it in the book. It's in the appendix. Go to ascd.org. Or if you got a little time to wait, go to Amazon. Maybe I'm gonna get blessed today and that thing will say available tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't looked at it since we got on. My wife said, will you stop going to your Amazon page? Because I'm like, I go to it probably every 30 minutes. And I mean that literally, I'm not exaggerating. I go to that page every 30 minutes since December 16, praying that this thing says the book is going out the next day. So and that's why I have not been at peace. Right. So, but anyway, man, it's 12:48. I ain't keeping y'all on here all day. Listen, I did want to formally close though. Let me just go to my page here. Y'all, I'm to the fam out there, I'm organized. It's just that we've been jumping around. Anything outside of what you gave me, and I'm gonna hold on to these so we could, we get together 2-3 times a year anyway. So anything that just going into 2025 for the fam that's on here, or the fam that will watch the video later, anything that you want to share with them going into this new year? Anybody?
I just want to share, and I put it as one of my points, but I'll just summarize it. As educators, we spend a lot on professional development and developing ourselves professionally. But when you ask people what are their most important things to them, they always say things like their faith and their family. So my advice is, and I'm talking to me too, spend the same amount of time that you do developing yourself professionally on the things that you say are those most important things to you, your family, your faith. I'm really excited that the children's ministry at our church, we're going to be journeying through the entire Bible with our children. And so we've decided to make a cast when we finish of all of our hands and place it on top of it's like a wooden Bible piece, just to show that we finished that. So that's one of the things that I'm really excited about for 2025, to do that with my daughters.
Love it. Look at this guy, man.
Hey.
You better leave me alone, buddy.
He is cute.
All right, get out of here. That's my daughter's dog, not mine. Or anybody else?
Just remember that we're in the best profession out there. You don't see it because once your kids leave, a lot of times they don't come back and they thank you. Thanks. Until you look your ugliest at a Subway and you just got out of bed and you didn't brush your teeth, and then that one kid is gonna go up to you and say, "Is that you, Tobar?" And then you start putting mints in your mouth, and that's when they tell you those words, because of you. You're the only one that. You're the only one that did this. I still remember when you did this. Then you know for a fact that you are in the right business because you touched a kid's spirit. And that spirit was so strong that that individual remembered you years down. And let me tell you, if you get those approaches, if you get those all of a sudden emails, I can guarantee you one thing. It does not happen for all educators. If you get those confrontations in a positive way, if you get those social media DMs from former students, then you did your job.
That's right.
Yeah.
I will put money on this.
Yeah.
I will tell you that 90% of those teachers that kid had are not getting it. They're not getting that. You are. You know why? Because you are a game changer. You changed the life of somebody else, and you're not seeing it immediately, but you will see it down the road, because not only is it affecting that kid, but you did something positive for your community and for this beautiful country.
Right.
Awesome, Josh.
I love it. And Josh, you got some interesting comments on here on the work.
You being at the subway without brush teeth should never happen, Josh. We don't speak that for 2025.
Never should have ever happened, Josh. Okay, but I'm not a Clemson fan. That is what happened. Principal Kafele, if I could, I would just like to say, as an encouragement to everyone, Happy New Year. I say stay encouraged. We want to, as a Fantastic Four, say thank you for what you do. Thank you for rolling with us and following us. What we try to do, we do for you, because this is very important, as Principal Kafele said before, to us. And then publicly, Principal Kafele, on behalf of the other three in the four, I want us to say thank you to you for your stellar leadership, but also thank you for the opportunity to have a space on this platform. You are absolutely the GOAT. We look to you for guidance and leadership. I told you one time before, my brother was a big James Brown fan. He would be juggling all around, and he was my brother's godfather. That's what we called him, the godfather. So you are the godfather of leadership for us, and we want you to know how much we appreciate you and what you do as we go into this new year. I'm glad to hear. I hope you take 4 more vocations. I would take me 4 too. I think it's deserved.
That's right.
Yes.
And speaking of James Brown, ironically, I sat right here last night, past midnight, watching James Brown concerts and Michael Jackson concerts. Literally, I watched a 2-hour Michael Jackson concert in Budapest, and I watched James back when he had the comp. We're talking early 60s James, when he was on the Tammy show. If you know that particular video, when he does Night Train and Please, 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 which I feel is his best work. I just sat here with the speaker blast and just watching James all night long until about 1 o'clock this morning. I don't know what led me to do that. I have no idea. But that's what I did. And then you said James. I said, okay, there it is. James is in my spirit for some kind of reason, right? So that's my main man.
And I know. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you got it.
I was gonna say, I know I've already spoken, but for people who know me, know I'm long-winded. So to Tammy's point, giving you your flowers while you're here, I would not be the leader that I am had it not been for the things that I've learned from you. And I think a lot of people tuning in, a lot of people on this platform could absolutely say the same thing. So thank you for what you do in your authenticity, because it gave a lot of us permission to be our authentic selves. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, both of you. Appreciate you. Any closing thoughts, Dr. Modeno?
You know what? We're gonna do great in 2025, right? Because we always have to kind of always think positive and always make sure that we do what's right for kids. If we're doing it for the kids, then it's going to be okay. And so thank you so much for having us, Principal Confetti. And I'm just super excited to be amongst the Fantastic Four. I can't tell you, I was talking to a friend of mine and he said to me, you know Principal Confetti? Like, you know him? I was like, well, I haven't like been in person with him, but I'm sure
No, you know me.
We'll
You
do
know
that one day. But he was like, you are at another level now if you're talking to him personally. So you know what? I really do appreciate Josh introducing me to you, and Dr. Shika and Dr. Tammy. Thank you so much. It's just been a phenomenal experience. I know I'm new to the Fantastic Four, but I can't tell you how humble I am that I am amongst some great leaders. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. I am leaving 2024 behind, and I have embraced my new family here. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to more learning.
That's right. I love it. I appreciate all of you. Appreciate your words, your friendship, just being comrades. I appreciate all of that, and we keep it going. To the fam out there, as we close out, before you leave, hang in there for a minute. I want you to understand something. We all, well, everybody on here now, 3 of us on here are still doing this work in the building. Not necessarily all of us as principal. Myself, I'm in that consultant world. But here's the thing: we've all done it. So we can relate to your challenges, your pain, but also your wins, right? We can relate to that. We can identify with all of it. There are people that do the work I do that talk a good game, I guess, but they ain't never done this work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they can talk, they talk it good, but they can't feel what you feel, right? And I'm not saying that to put them down, to criticize them. I just want to keep it real on this point that I'm getting ready to make. I know what them weeks are. You all know my story. If you've been on here long enough, you know I've been suspended from my principalship. I was up for termination. I was the lead story on the New York City news channels, the radio stations, and the newspapers. Headline. I got them all in my scrapbook, right? And so I know what that is, because I stood up for what I believed. I stood on my principles, as they would say today. I stood on business, so I understand that. So I'm saying that to say this: we have these 4 platforms, Fantastic Four, because I know some people are confused. But wait a minute, there's like 6 of y'all. Why you say fantastic? Because it's 4 platforms, right? So that's why we say Fantastic Four. And then the 3 on Saturday, we call it Super Saturday. We do this as a labor of love. We don't get paid for this. We're not celebrities, so we don't get the big YouTube dollars, right? I'm lucky if my check is $100, right? It's in the summer we do a little bit better, but we don't get that Shannon Sharp money, right? We're not getting even them, if you look at them hip hop, some of them videos, I keep in touch with that world because it's a part of our world, right? So I can't separate myself from it. So I watch a lot of hip hop stuff online. I watch a lot of sports stuff online. Those folks are making lots of money on YouTube. I'm not, right? So I just do this because this is me. So I reach out to my guests on Saturday. So like today, I'll be reaching out to next Saturday's guests. So Haley, I know you're there. You'll be getting an email from me in a little while, right? So I reach out to next Saturday's guests. I send them the link on Wednesday. I start preparing on Wednesday. Then I start preparing more. Then I prepare more on Thursday. And then on Friday, I'm going real hard with it. And then on Saturday, I'm reviewing it. And then we come on Saturday. So I'm not getting paid a dime, and neither are my colleagues in the other channels. We do this. I want y'all to hear me, and then tell a friend that's not here. We do this for y'all, man. That's it. Period. End of story. Drop the freaking mic. Right where we at. Boom. Right. We do this for the fam. We just trying to make our impact. That's all we doing. We trying to make our impact on education. So we created these platforms in order to do it. That's what this is. I don't get anything from this, right? I mean, I do get love because y'all be giving us that love. So that matters, right? That I'm gonna say that again. That matters. When I look at this thread and someone's giving me praise, don't think I take that lightly, because I don't.
That's right.
When I see Yolanda giving me that praise, like I see Yolanda do, and Haley and Melissa Jones Chuno and Jacqueline Harriet and Dot McKeever Jeter, and one of the biggest mistakes is to start name dropping, because you know you're gonna miss somebody. So, and I missed a lot of people, but when I see y'all giving that praise, don't think I don't see that. I see it, and I take ownership of it. It matters, right? So I just want you all to know that. That's why we get up on Saturday morning to do this work, and Josh and Marty on Sunday. So make sure that you keep tuning in. Right? I've been on since 2020, the first Saturday in May of 2020. So keep tuning in. We all going to get better and better. I'm going to go starting in May. I'm doing solos again every first Saturday. Every first Saturday in May, I'm coming right out of this. Right? Every first Saturday starting in May. Marcus Jackson will be with me every last Saturday starting in April. And we're going to just exhaust his book, because there's just so much in there that I want you all to get. So just be on the lookout for that. January, milking month. All my guests will be milking winners. Man, he crying up a storm. All my guests will be milking winners in January. February is Black History Month. March is Women's History Month. We got all women coming on, and it's going to be extraordinary these next 3 months. So tell somebody, tune in, and by the way, let me do my rundown. But I gotta say to you, if today's session resonated with you, if it was good for you, if you got some nuggets out of it, if you could use it, or if it was just good stuff, give us those emojis as I see you doing. And I'm gonna give my colleagues, this ain't for me, it's just for them, the Grand Slam, Louisville Slugger, out the park, right? That's for them. No, that ain't for me. That's for them. So listen, y'all, before you leave, next week, all month in January is all milking, right? So I got all these milking, but the big one is gonna be the last Saturday in January. I'm bringing on the founder of the Milken Awards, Lowell Milken himself, right? So just he and I are going to have a one-on-one. That's the last Saturday in January. I don't know if I said March before, but January, right? Next Saturday, 10 o'clock, Sean Hurt, Facebook Live, 10 o'clock, followed by Create and Educate, Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor, followed by myself at 10:55, and then Sunday, PDP podcast with Josh Tovar and Dr. Marty Moreno on Sunday at 7 o'clock. Kwanzaa every day, 8 o'clock, except Wednesday, which is Imani, the last day of Kwanzaa, 6 o'clock, so that we can all watch the Luther Vandross special on CNN, right? So but every other day, I won't be on the night, but I'll be watching, right? And I'll be live Sunday. I'm really excited about Sunday because I got all activists from North coming on, and it's gonna be different, right? So I'm looking forward to that. That's tomorrow night, Sunday, 8 o'clock. Tune in. Make sure you get a copy, y'all. Get it from ASCD, fine. Get it from Amazon, fine. Barnes and Noble, just get it, right? The bulk of my work this year, this is it, right? People invite me to do other things, I'll do it. But this is where my heart is right now, and it's probably going to be here for the next few years because there's so much in here. I told my partner with my summer academy in Raleigh, I said we're going to keep it by this instructional leadership. I said I got enough content to last me for 5 years. So so we're gonna stay with instructional leadership, not duplicating, right? We just going to continue for 5 years with the same content coming out of this book. Subscribe to the AP New Principals Academy YouTube channel, and then hit the subscribe button, and then hit the notifications bell so that you're informed of when I go live. That's right, Haley. You didn't know I pulled that one off. I got Lowell Milken coming on. That's one of my Milken sisters. He gonna be in the building, right? So we looking forward to that. So and then lastly, y'all, your diet, your exercise, your virus precautions. Make sure that you're taking care of yourselves because it's wicked out here. All right, with them viruses. It's wicked out here. So I'm not going to make recommendations of what you do. You do whatever's best for you. Me, I'm loaded down with all sorts of vaccinations, right? So hopefully that works, man. Don't tell Kyrie Irving, he'd be mad at me, right? But but I'm, and Kyrie's my man, so don't get me wrong. But I'm loaded down. I got them all. I got the pneumonia, I got the flu, I got the RSV, whatever else is out there, I got that too. I just got to get that shingles, right? So, whatever. Other than that, I got it all, man. Some of y'all shaking your head. You shouldn't be doing that. That's right. That's why I'm not making recommendations of y'all. You ain't got to make none of me, right?
That's right.
All right, y'all. Listen here, and y'all stay on too. Listen, man. Y'all have a great New Year. Happy New Year. Great New Year. I see you on the Kwanzaa broadcast, but I definitely see you next Saturday as well as everybody else on this screen. So until we see one another again, peace. Peace. Thumbs up. Cock that fist back. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Bam! The final bam of 2024.
Damn.